Today I want to talk to you about the Hear360 Pro Tools Template. I'll break it down into 3 parts. First, I'll give you a general overview of the session, and then we'll talk about the I/O setup, and then we'll talk about the Hear360 plugins and the mixer routing. This session is a song that was recorded live. It's got drums, bass, guitar, keys, horns, and vocals. In the lower half of the session, there's an 8-channel track that was recorded using the Hear360 8-ball microphone. And at the bottom are 4 stereo tracks which are used to print your final mix for encoding in our Encode app. I'll colorize the tracks to give you a better idea of signal flow. Many of the audio tracks have been bussed to a reverb so we can add ambience to our spatialization. All of the audio tracks and the effects tracks all feed into Hear360's Earth and Sky for spatialization. Now let's talk about the I/O setup. From the Setup menu, choose I/O Setup. Starting with the Output tab, you'll need at least one 7.1 audio track, as well as 4 stereo subpaths. Now let's go to the Buses tab. I've set up a stereo pair for headphone monitoring. Now that Pro Tools 12 supports third-order ambisonics, or 16-channel audio buses, we've created a 16-track audio bus where the first 8 tracks are dedicated to a 7.1 version and 8 mono versions of Earth. Below that, you'll see the next 4 channels are dedicated to a quad version of Sky, and the last 4 channels are blank. If you're still using Pro Tools 11, check it out. Pro Tools 12 will now let you create 16-channel audio buses, or third-order ambisonic tracks. You'll need Pro Tools 11 HD, and you'll need to make 2 separate buses. The first one will be a 7.1 bus. We'll name that Earth. And after that, we'll make a 4-channel bus so that we can send audio to the Sky plugin for elevation. Next up, you have an 8-channel and a 16-channel bus that are dedicated for reverbs. Below that, you have a 4-channel bus so that you can add reverb to our Sky plugin. The 8-ball reverb has an 8-channel bus as well as 4 stereo subpaths. This is so you can add a reverb to a particular direction, such as front, rear, or the sides. Next is another 4-channel bus for a second Sky verb. And below that, we've got a mono Voice of God send, which is a part of the Sky plugin. The Hear360 master bus has 4 stereo subpaths. This is the final mix stage and monitoring stage, where you might apply some EQ or dynamics. Next is an 8-channel bus for our control plugin. And below that, we have an 8-channel bus dedicated for a print track. It also has 4 stereo subpaths. These 4 stereo files will be used by our Encode app to make a 3D stereo mix that you can listen to in any headphones. Now let's look at our plugins in the mix window. Take a look at the comments window. Every single track has detailed notes about what its function is. The first 5 tracks use Hear360's Meridian for surround panning. You can load any MP4 or .mov file into the window. On a stereo track, you'll see 2 pucks that you can use to spatialize the left and the right channels. The track's output is set to go to the Hear360 Earth bus. In fact, that's true of all of the tracks. If you take a look closely, you see that every single audio track and effects track are all in some way being bussed to Earth or Sky. You'll notice that some of the tracks use a surround panner for spatialization. So what's the difference between using Meridian and a surround panner? Well, let's take a closer look. The big difference is that Meridian lets you mix visually. You can use the sound puck to place your sound on a person or an instrument or a place in the room. All of our plugins support recording and playback of automation. If you work with B-format audio, we've included a track that uses Soundfield's excellent Surround Zone plugin to convert a 4-channel track into an 8-channel track so that we can bus it to Hear360's Earth. It's free from their website, and I highly recommend getting it. The next 3 tracks are reverb tracks used to add ambience that are also feeding into Hear360's Earth. Earth is Hear360's new spatializer plugin. Let's solo the lead vocal and take a listen. Be sure to listen in headphones.
Never thought that the rain could burn my senses dull. Haven't felt before. Never touched a store or felt a wind so strong. Never knew, never felt, never had something. All the stories say.
Sky is our new plugin that adds elevation to a mix. Here's another example.
I never thought that the rain could burn my senses dull. Haven't felt before. Never touched a store felt a wind so strong, never knew, never felt, never had something.
All of the software is included free when you buy a Hear360 8-ball microphone. In our session, we have a dedicated 8-channel track for the 8-ball, as well as 4 stereo pairs that correspond with a specific direction such as front, left, rear, and right. This track is being sent to the Hear360 master track. The master track is then being sent out to a Hear360 print bus. Remember, in the I/O setup, we made 4 stereo subpaths. Each stereo pair corresponds with a direction on the 8-ball. After you print those 4 stereo pairs, they'll then be ready for use with our Encode app, so you can merge your 3D video with your 3D audio. Our control plugin has 2 main functions. Its first function is to let you view 3D video inside of your DAW. It connects to the Control Player app, which is found in your Hear360 folder in the Applications folder. When you open it, it'll ask you to choose a movie for viewing. After you load the movie, you're going to have to go to the Control plugin window and press the Connect button. Once you do that, the video and the audio will now be synchronized. It can also be used to realign your audio to a video. If you move the dial, you'll see that it changes the value to the different degrees, or you're able to type into the text box, or you're able to just double-click to reset it to 0. This comes in handy if you're working on VR or AR experiences. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out our other videos on our channel.